Hello and welcome to another episode of We're Not Nerds. We just play video games in my creepy garage. Today we're going to focus on PlayStation VR. We had an opportunity to play that, and we also played some titles we've already played on Oculus and Vive, so we can do a comparison, and then also talk about some unique features of PlayStation VR itself. So let's start with SuperHot that we just played on PlayStation VR, and we also played last week on Oculus. It's a game we're already familiar with. So why don't you go over real quick the controls and sort of how they work for PlayStation?
So basically the controls are pretty much the same as they were on Oculus, except you're on the Move controllers. I mean, there's just triggers to, fire and whatnot, and then also the T buttons to toss, and as you're going through, you have the camera. You have to face towards the camera, similar to the Oculus, and essentially, you just have to dodge every time you move or anything like that. Time speeds up, so you have to kind of dodge everything, bullets, any attacks and whatnot. So
I was gonna say, I noticed the game was essentially exactly the same. I mean, I remembered some of the same.
Pretty much exactly the same. The only thing that I really stood out, and I'm going to hop right into it, is how limiting the actual PlayStation camera is compared to the Oculus.
Out of play area.
Yes, it's I mean, in your dungeon, aka the garage, it actually had a bigger space than when I was actually playing in my office. I would run into a lot of things in my office, just because you essentially, when you're playing this game, you have to just use as much area as you can to just dodge and just be able to have long reaches to attack.
You're picking up things off the floor when a gun falls. You're reaching up to grab something out of a spot or punch somebody.
Well, and that's really what's limiting about the camera, is because whenever you're going down to reach towards a weapon, you're out of area. And I mean, even if you're not reaching it, you can still click like the T button or like the pickup button. Right. You can still pick it up.
To be fair, that happened on Oculus too. There was a couple of times where the way we had the camera set up, where you reached down and it was out of the
But I didn't feel like it happened as often. I feel like I was constantly out of the play area.
And it wasn't just side to side. If you moved back too far, you got the same thing too, didn't you?
So how is the Oculus cameras are two stationary ones, right?
Yeah.
This is just one that has two cameras, though. Yeah. So I mean, you have to kind of centralize the PlayStation camera.
If you picture it as a cone, you're going to have, the closer you are to it, too, you're going to be
that's true. As further back too, you might have a wider area.
Right. But I mean, if you have one camera in the center, you sort of have a cone projecting out from that. Whereas with Oculus, if you have two, you are covering a wider area. Yeah. So that's probably why we didn't notice the side-to-side stuff quite as much when we played it on Oculus. So.
But what'd you guys think of it on PlayStation?
I really thought it played, other than the limited area, which I did run into a couple times, it seemed to play just as well. I can't say graphically if it looked exactly the same or not. You really have to look at them side by side. But once I was into the game, I mean, it played exactly the same. I would say I enjoyed it just as much on Oculus. And if I recall, we all gave it like 4s and 4.5s and stuff. We loved the game.
Cool. What about you, Amanda? I mean, you're like Fast and Furious over there, just like...
That's my playstyle, which doesn't work for every level, as I've learned. But I don't know, when someone's coming at me, I feel like I gotta run.
In case you forgot, this is Amanda's playstyle. Here.
I guess for my style, out of play area happened all the time because I'm keep moving and then it would glitch on me because of that, and then I die.
Yeah. Well, shoot, even slow and steady type of play style was the same exact way.
I guess I take off half the point for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If I gave it a 4 last time and say a 3.5, I mean, I still really like the game. But it is frustrating when you're in the heat of the moment in a game like this.
Oh, yeah.
And you reach over and all of a sudden you get the wonky gun that sort of starts
and then you had to go back to the first level, if you will.
A couple of minor flaws overall. I mean, I was impressed with the screen resolution. I mean, how well everything looked.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the idea, just to jump to it, that you can get similar games for VR on a console and a PC right now.
Which means
to me, I was just saying that's the key. That's the key to this technology being successful, right? I mean,
it's accessible by everyone.
Yeah, when they make The Witcher 3 or Skyrim or anything, they're trying to get to the biggest market, and knowing that you can put it on a console and a PC means that they're they have a bigger customer base. So we're seeing the same thing here, which is awesome, because without that, you're just going to see the technology disappear. So I was just thrilled to see that you can get a similar game on a console as a PC.
Yeah, I agree.
Just more, maybe more to see, maybe more to do, but I mean, I guess... Shotgun, I don't know. Your concept for a game, bad throw. I don't think the official
I'm fucked.
You got it?
No, he hit the thing.
You did it! Punch him!
So let's talk about Arizona Sunshine as a game.
Okay.
First of all, anybody want to do an intro on just sort of what it is?
I guess I can start it off. I've already done kind of a review on Arizona Sunshine on my own channel. But essentially, it's you wake up in a canyon in an Arizona desert as this protagonist that has no idea how he got there or what's going on. He refers literally to everything, all the zombies, as Freddy for whatever the hell reason.
And Freddy over here trying to get a tan. Hey, Freddy, come on.
And basically, you have to traverse through different areas and terrains in order to basically just escape. And there's really no backstory. There's really no anything. You just run around and shoot zombies and just listen to him wisecracking on everything.
I was gonna say it's basically a post-apocalyptic zombie first-person shooter VR style.
Yeah.
And like
pretty
not
much
a lot of story.
Yeah.
But different weapons that you can get. A lot different. Yeah. It takes you through a few different areas. There's sort of in the desert area. You go through like an amusement park. Into caverns, and then I think you're
a railroad, a rail yard, a trailer park. Then there's you actually get to the town called Sunshine, and then you go through all these different houses, and it's actually pretty cool when you're traversing through like all the houses and everything, kind of like all the detail as far as like all the objects. Now, mind you, I don't know exactly how it is on the HTC Vive. But there's not on the PlayStation. They really dulled down kind of the graphics and not a lot of like the details as far as like the objects and everything like that. So everything's kind of plain texture on the PlayStation. But I'm not really sure about the.
Yeah, and you can up the textures and everything on Vive. I think it may have stressed my system a little bit if you made them too high. But I think you're saying the graphics look better in Vive from your experience.
They way better, and animations as well.
But I did like that they had the different details like that. It reminded me of playing Fallout a little bit. I mean, not as far as the story and everything, but the ability to go through these, go down the street with all the parked cars that are.
And everything's like flipped over, destroyed.
You can open the doors and you look for things in their trunk, trying to look for ammo, and then you can go into a house where everybody's dead, kind of thing. And then that stuff's always. I just like that kind of atmosphere. Yeah. So what would we rate this again? Not considering system, but just as a game, what would you give it?
So as a game, and this is out of a 5, right? Yeah. As a game, I'd probably give it a 3.5. Just because, I mean, I really wish that they kind of incorporated a little bit of a backstory, like who this guy was. But at the same time, I mean, if you just look at it as kind of a run and gun, I mean, it's fine as it is. Yeah. So
I agree. I'd probably give it 3 or 3.5. Part of it's just it's not my favorite atmosphere, like desert kind of thing. So that's just personal preference, I guess. I don't know. But it was fun as a first person shooter. And like I said, I like that you can kind of go through the different areas and broken down cars. It gives it that creepy vibe to it.
Yeah.
But also, it's probably just not my favorite. First-person shooters never really been my favorite. I like a storyline and stuff like that, so it was a little less. Yeah. And it didn't have a mechanic like SuperHot. SuperHot is unique because of the whole frozen time thing.
Yeah, the time.
If you play
this is more of your typical. Yeah, this is more of your typical first-person shooter where there's different guns that you can pick up, and you're looking for ammo, and you're reloading, and there's parts where all of a sudden you get a swarm coming at you, stuff like that.
Fred, what did you do this time? You pissed someone off, huh? Well, thanks, Fred. God damn it, Fred. Did you have to bring your whole family? What the fuck, man? I'm just trying to chill, Maybe you and me, just a little bonding time, little hang sesh, but no, you gotta bring the whole family. Come on, man. I'm just saying, I'm just like, just wanna chill.
It's well done for what it is, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't play it, so I don't feel it's right for me to rate it. But watching it, I felt it was annoying that the guy talked so much.
Yeah.
And he was like a real downer too, like super clinically depressed. And I was like, oh,
well, it's a post-apocalyptic zombie.
Yeah, I know,
I'd be
but
pretty
it's
depressed too.
I get you'd be depressed, but you don't want to be a character who's clinically depressed. I mean, you're in this guy's shoes and you're clinically depressed.
This is minor, but I don't like when I'm playing a first-person game, first-person point of view especially, where I feel like I'm supposed to be that character, and they have have the character talk. It's one thing when it's third person, like, you know, it's Geralt of Rivia in Witcher, and you know he's a character with his own personality and all. But sometimes when I'm supposed to be that character, it takes you out of the immersion, right? All of a sudden, like, what am I saying? You know, I don't know.
If
minor
you can choose
point.
what you say, like, you know, like some games you can like
Skyrim
choose
or something
different.
where you have to read dialogue options.
Yeah, dialogue options.
So let's talk mechanics. To go over the Vive real quick, because that's what I first played it on.
Okay.
With the Vive at room scale, you have full 360. You can move all the way around.
Yes.
It gives you the ability to do your typical, which we've seen on a lot of games, teleport, where you aim at a spot on the ground, you can teleport to it. Or you can also go with the, I think it's new. I think it was newer as part of a patch, but you can use the actual go forward with the control using the trackpad.
Yeah, it's essentially walking.
Yeah. It's funny because in our last review, at the very end, we were talking about using the teleport, and I think Nathan said, "Oh, would you prefer that they give you the walking ability?" And I said, "Oh, that would make me want to puke. Forget that. That'd be terrible." It's not as bad as I thought. And more games seem to be using it. I assume they're going to do something like that for Fallout 4 and Skyrim.
I actually feel like it's a better immersion if I have if I can actually manually steer my character, because on the PlayStation for Arizona Sunshine, I played back and forth with a teleport, and it just didn't feel right. I mean, you have hordes of zombies coming at you, and it's just like, oh, let me teleport on the other side of a car, and then they have to turn around and come after me. It's like,
well, that's true.
When you're playing with the actual walking, it's like, no, I have to actually manually turn myself around and run as they're like attacking me.
So you're saying it can basically feel like a cheat when all of a sudden you're like, I'll just teleport away from the enemy. I almost like to teleport better with real room scale. Yeah. Right? Now that we're playing this garage, you have a lot of room, and I think I would teleport to get to the next general area. But if I teleport over to a car to open the door and look for ammo inside, and then someone's coming at me, I think I would just walk around, which is what I tend to do. When you use the control, and I've realized this in some other games I've played too, one of them's called Paranormal Activity or something. It's basically like a haunted kind of game, and it uses that mechanic where you can walk around, and when I do that, I tend to then use it for everything. I'll get up to a door and I'll scoot back with the control, and it's almost like I'm sitting at a desk and I'm using ASWD all of a sudden. You know what I mean? So it's weird.
SWAT,
whatever. Dude, you know what I'm saying? And so for me, I think if you really have a room scale available and you really can turn around 360 and all, the teleport works just to get you to the next area where then you walk around and do stuff. I think if you are restricted to a small area, you almost have to use the walking mechanism.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that,
So I don't know which I like better, and I'm assuming that there's also a weird thing where if you try to walk forward and push the button at the same time, it really gets disorienting. So you need to remember to stop walking, and then use control, and it's almost easier just to teleport and walk around.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Saying that it's for different use cases, such as for the PlayStation that has a fixed camera, it'd be easier to use it as a walk. But when you have an HTC Vive that has a camera placed over here, placed over there, you have a whole 360, then you can teleport, and then you could also have like that 360 immersion that you can actually roam around.
And the same would be for Oculus. I mean, to me, the PlayStation VR and Oculus seem the most similar because you have a camera facing at you, fixed position, limited sort of play space. And for me, the Vive is a whole different animal where you really have the 360 large room scale available. I mean, for both, Vive, as far as I know, is still the only thing where you can put both of your towers at opposite corners of a garage and play, opposed to, it's turned out just 3 to 6 feet apart for
game changer.
Yeah, game changer.
We didn't actually play it this time around for the Arizona Sunshine, but Arizona Sunshine, they released a patch that actually supports the PlayStation aim controller that came with Farpoint. Now, I actually had a chance to play this on my own private time, and I felt it just did not fit this game. I felt like it was a great add-on, but as far as when you're actually in game and you're shooting all the zombies, you're really limited to any type of single or two-handed type of rifle weapons, and it really limits your DPS when you have like hordes coming at you, zombie hordes.
You can dual wield in this game.
You can dual wield in this game, but you don't have the option to switch back and forth in game. It's either you start with this or you start with this.
And who'd want to put it down and pick up the other ones anyway? As far as
I'm concerned, you actually have to close out the game. The PlayStation, and then you have to load. You have to shut these off. You have to turn these off. Then you have to start this up, and then you're limited only to that. So if you have hordes coming and you only have a 10-round clip for your rifle, like an M1 Garrett or something like that, not to be oddly specific. But when you run out of that ammo, you have to sit there, you have to fool around, remember the buttons, oh, it's this one, and then you reload, and then you only have 10 rounds to put against, like 30 zombies that are coming at you, opposed to having 2 Uzis that you can just go.
Yeah, it doesn't work when the game allows you to have 2 weapons, and this is really
so that's the only thing. I felt like it was a really good add-on. It just didn't feel right.
All right, so let's talk about Farpoint then.
So Farpoint is actually a PlayStation 4 exclusive, and it came as a bundled with the game, and it's developed by Impulse Gear. This game, when they were developing this game, they actually, I'm going to hold it back up again, they actually manufactured this aim controller specifically for this game. And Tom, tell me how you like playing this game with this controller.
It was great.
It was really good, huh?
So so you have a thumb on each of these joysticks here, one in the back and one on the center column here, and one of them allows you to strafe and the other's turn. Yep. And then you're aiming this way. Yep. So this was one of those things where the technology is perfectly implemented for that kind of game style.
It had a mixture of your point of view and aiming, but at the same time you're controlling it in a strafe and almost like an FPS.
I was saying it reminded me a lot of having a keyboard and mouse. I have my keyboard for strafing and for forward and back, and then I have the ability to do my actual,
and then you're looking around and you're aiming at the same time. So there's a lot of different variables that are going on.
So it was almost like playing an arcade game too. You know those old ones where you walk up to the arcade and you have you actually get to pick up the gun and you have a little pedal thing to duck or whatever. I mean,
like Time Crisis.
Like Time Crisis,
Love
stuff like
Time
that.
Crisis.
So it's very similar where you feel like you actually have a thing, except this had the full turning and everything else. But it reminded me of that, and I thought the game made to jump right to it. For me, it was the best thing so far that I played on. I mean, I only played a few things, but the best thing on PlayStation VR. I give it like a 5. It's one of those things where for what it is, for that type of game, for the technology that came along with it, for the control.
Well, shoot, it was perfect. You already gave it a 5. I didn't even tell you the best parts. Guess how much the bundle was.
How much?
$40.
Really? And that included that? See, that's awesome. That's dope.
Nice.
$40.
No, it was great. I mean, I played a little bit, but that's one of those I could just see playing. Like, okay, I'm going to play for half.
You could also play co-op
3 hours
online.
That's cool.
Co-op online, and then they have challenges where they basically just have hordes of things come at you.
That's cool.
And so you had a button for reload that you held down to like recharge your weapon. You could easily switch
also
weapons.
I didn't tell you this, but if you wanted to do the animation, you could just go like this and it'll switch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, that's awesome. Yeah. That reminds me of that Space Pirate Trainer where you do that thing over your shoulder and all that.
Yeah.
No, I liked it a lot. I thought it was, the graphics looked cool. Looked like there was a little bit of a story to it where you had to like scan something and someone gave you some dialogue kind of thing. But just the implementation of running around and shooting stuff.
So two other things. Well, just one other thing. If you hold down the select button here, it would actually recalibrate your visor.
Oh,
so you get off
So that's one of the things that
built in.
SuperHot and Arizona Sunshine did not
and could really use.
Yeah, so it would redo it. But the thing that I also did in my review is that this thing would become very it would just desync continuously.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they've patched it since then, because the last time I actually played it was maybe 2 or 3 months ago. But essentially, you would have to just turn off the device, you pause it, turn off the device, turn it back on, it'll recalibrate, and you're good to go. Cool. So, but that's really the only minor thing.
What do you give it out of 5?
I gave it a 5.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I mean,
Yeah, I absolutely loved this game when I played it, and it was 10 hours.
So much fun.
It was a 10-hour game,
I was
too.
playing like Doom when I was just running through it, like blowing stuff away.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
You can run and gun it.
Yeah, the shotgun kind of weapon I had.
Yeah, it's kind of OP.
Yeah, but you had all these, little spiders coming at you or whatever, and you had to. It was fun. So, I think that's it. That was my first experience with PlayStation.
Do you want to talk about the headset versus?
Oh yeah,
sure.
Yeah, you want to talk about that? What'd you guys think about the headset?
When I first put it on, I thought it was weird because you have to slide the visor closer to you, which is actually smart.
Using the button.
Yeah, because with Vive, you almost have to get it on your face and kind of pull it on. They kind of was smart in that you put it on and then you slide it closer to your face. I had no problem with it. It was comfortable. It was
I noticed that one thing that Dom even asked, like, is this glasses friendly? And I was like, oh, yeah, like, it slides in and out. So, I mean, like, he put it on, he had glasses and everything like that, and he was able to adjust it comfortably on his head, and he had no issue.
And the picture was super clear. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know what the, I didn't compare them side by side, but I almost felt like maybe you get a little less of the screen door effect for whatever reason.
Screen door effect.
Yeah, so when you can see the pixels, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
when it's real close. I mean, certain, like the developer kit which I have for Oculus.
Yeah.
You really notice that because back I forget what they were using. It was like 2 480 by I forget what it was.
Yeah.
I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, I actually never noticed anything like that or anything weird
it
like
was just super clear. So,
or like the drawing distance that you were talking about in Arizona Sunshine.
I noticed that. No, I noticed that in the Vive. I felt like the drawing distance.
Well, then again, you upped it manually.
So maybe I hadn't. Yeah, maybe I needed to go back.
Maybe
to
that was
the
kind
settings.
of a pre-calibrated thing in the PlayStation.
The image was really clear and it was comfortable, and I thought it was great.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
I thought it was comfortable. It's easy to put on adjust, but
not gonna lie, the HTC Vive with all the
Velcro
multiple straps.
Once it's on, it's fine. But if you're switching around,
you need help.
I know.
Yeah, but you don't need help with this.
No, it's super simple.
What I found when I was playing SuperHot was that I had to keep readjusting this. It kept flying away from me.
Well, I mean, when you're going like this and like this, of course it's gonna fly away from you.
No reason to reenact all.
I'm just saying.
So if you're really, if you're in a game that also does require a lot of movement, you're gonna see this problem occur a lot more often.
Fair enough.
Maybe.
So when you start playing like me, you're gonna start noticing that problem where you're gonna have to keep readjusting
I feel like I'd get whiplash first before anything. So
it's a talent.
I don't know. Yeah,
that's my main complaint for this is, it's not super steady, but comfortable and easy to put on.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, I still think Vive was ahead of the game with the room scale.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But like I said, I'll say it one more time because I think it's super important that they're doing games on console and you can play it on Oculus. I think our goal should be, or what we should really hope to see, is that the hardware and the software are completely separate. The same way that you can play Skyrim on your TV, on your monitor. You can use it with 3 glasses if you want. Any keyboard you want, with any mouse you want, with any video card you want. I mean, I'd like to see the hardware and the software.
Basically, make it universal on as many platforms as possible.
Yes, exactly. And it would be great if, just like you can go get a monitor that's freaking 40 inches wide and is 4K versus getting a 1080 monitor that's only 20 inches or whatever. That's your decision. That's the hardware you're playing the game on. But the game can be played on either one.
Yeah.
I want to be able to say, I want to go out and get the super expensive room scale that has the new super, high resolution screens in it versus getting something cheaper. But everybody should be able to go and play those games. It shouldn't be an exclusive for any one thing. That's going to be the key to making the technology stick around.
Well, not just that, but keep having people come out with more developers come out with more actual full games.
Well, it's what happened with the 3D Vision, which I loved. Like I said, I mean, I used to play Skyrim, but I had to get a third-party patch and stuff. And someone in the game community put together. If you don't have software that works with the hardware, then no one gets the hardware. No one gets the hardware. There's no reason for the software. Catch-22. So next game we played was Arizona Sunshine. So let's just talk about Arizona Sunshine as a game before we get into the comparison, because we hadn't actually reviewed that one yet. Did we break another one?
No,
I just logged over.
No, it broke its fall.
Oh, isn't that nice? It didn't die.